Welcome everyone back to another episode of DiRōNA's Partner Profile. Always an exciting opportunity for us from DiRōNA to educate you about our partners, great service and products available to restaurateurs. With me today, and we chatted not long ago today, Frazer Nagy from Tablz. Frazer, how are you?
So great to see you again, Scott.
I'm sure, let's bring everybody up to speed who may not have caught our last video. Tell us a little bit about Tablz and about the service.
Yeah, Tablz is something very straightforward, and that is great. I've worked in the hospitality industry my whole life, since I was 13, bussing, dishwashing, you name it, managing and bartending. And something very simple. Didn't matter whether I was at the front door picking up the phone. People always ask me, "Hey, it's my anniversary. A business dinner coming in for 4-6 guests. Can I have your best table?" And I used to think, what the heck is my best table? Because whenever I put someone at my best table, they always wanted the next table next to it. So, the thing is, everyone is very specific about where they sit. Anyone in hospitality knows that. It's actually the most demanded service according to the National Restaurant Association, and all the reservation data shows people want to pick or upgrade their seat. So Tablz makes that very simple. As we'll see today, what we do is we actually 3D map the inside of beautiful dining rooms and wineries and properties, and we enable you to navigate the dining room with these great 4K cameras and simply work with operators to identify some of that key real estate. Sometimes it's a specific table by the window or by the fireplace, or sometimes it's a section. Hey, I just want to upgrade to sit on those banquettes or by that, on the patio. And people can either do it for free, depending on the time of day, or what's so great for operators is that, Saturday at 7 p.m., can be anywhere from $5 to $200, depending on where you are in the world. And there's no cost of goods associated. That upgrade fee is split between us and the restaurant partner. There's no cost of goods, so it's straight bottom line. It's all consumer driven and 100% voluntary. So it is really one of these, and why you and I connected in the first place, one of these rare win-win-win scenarios.
Right, no doubt. Key things for our restaurateurs to know. I mean, you're not just a one-man operation. This has turned into a large company for you. And it's not just centered around where you're located. You're offering this, I know, right across North America, and you may have, we even moved it worldwide now. How big is the company, and where's your locations that you're offering?
Yeah, precisely. We're working with going on almost 20 incredible hospitality groups, and of course their portfolio of their properties on top of that. So we're live from Miami to New York to Toronto to Texas and to California and Arizona, and you're right, we are going to have our first European and Middle East. Dubai is an incredible market, and a ton of interest coming out of there, which would be no surprise to anyone of that case. So we're a team of hospitality people working with another great hospitality groups, and we really encourage for your partners. We're working with several of them already. Georgetti was a proud partner almost from day one, well before we met. A great new property in Oregon, our real first in Pacific Northwest, with Joel Palmer and their beautiful family-owned restaurant for decades now. Have become big supporters, and we love it. And I'll definitely show off some of these properties. So wherever you are, it can be a rural estate property to a penthouse in New York. We work with great properties of all shapes and sizes.
Right. So I think the most important things for restaurateurs to understand, this merges right in with their current reservation system. It's just an opportunity for patrons to pick their table prior to arriving. Almost the same we've always talked about it. It's like selecting your seat on a flight, and would you like to upgrade for more legroom? You're giving them the opportunity to upgrade for a better spot in the restaurant, which we wouldn't even think of getting on a plane anymore without knowing where we're sitting. Take us through some examples. Grab the screen share. We'd love to see Gene and Georgetti's there in Chicago, and Joel Palmer, some of our DiRōNA Awarded restaurants, and let's see what a patron goes through, how easy it is to make a reservation, how easy it is to select and upgrade your table, and then from the restaurateur side, how wonderful it is to have this extra revenue coming in.
And you hit the nail on the head. The reason we've seen success is that we're operators ourselves, and we did not want another new tool. We didn't want you to think about Open Table or Resi. No, this layers on whatever reservation system you have. It works with that one. So we got no pony in that race. You pick the system that's right for you, and from there we just layer on top of that. So this is Gino and Georgetti's website. This is their existing reservation. So when you click that button, wherever your reservation button is, traditionally it would have just sent you to Resi or 7 rooms, but now it sends you to this little unique web app called app.tablz. And what you'll see here is it will say, hey, do you want to upgrade your seat? Or no, thank you, let us seat you. And that is 100% okay. We want people that want that upgraded experience. Scott used that great example, first class comfort plus or extra legroom. That's about 20% of the plane. That is also what we care about. Those people that want that extra courtside ticket or better view at the football game or ballet or music, like the Uber, hotels, everyone has done this for whatever reason, despite the fact that we're literally in the hospitality business. We've really struggled with this element of hospitality. So when you click in to pick your seat, Georgetti actually has something new that you haven't seen. You can either find a table in the dining room or move directly to the patio. But I'll show the dining room first and we'll jump over to the patio. So from there, all the traditional stuff, 2 guests, 4 guests, pick your time slot, but I'm going to jump ahead and just get into the fun part. So once you click into reserve now and you get past the pick your table or let us see you anyways, you jump into this environment where you get to navigate, these really amazing spaces. This is the front room of Gina and Georgetti, and we were working with a couple key tables for them. Famously, their Frank Sinatra table. This has been a massive table for them from a revenue perspective and a volume perspective. They're going to sell close to $8,000 to $10,000 worth of upgrades from this table alone, which is such an exciting piece of real estate that people really gravitate towards. And you can see why, Scott. It's just this amazing booth in the corner. But they further now added some patio sections as well, which is great. And we'll further the next big feature on the docket that is going to be really great for this property is group bookings. Gina and Georgetti has a series of rooms on the 2 floors and enabling not fully private events. They have that really under handle, say it's your birthday for 40 guests, but really that group size between 8 and 20. That traditionally open table Resi 7 rooms really struggle. They only let you book 1 to 6 guests or 1 to 8 guests. And there's a big opportunity for us to help them there as well, especially given the type of demographic that love to come in there for a birthday, for an anniversary, for those type of events that are, maybe sub a private event. So really exciting there. I'll jump over as well and just show on Joel Palmer, beautiful property in Oregon. Very similar what they've done on their reservation page. We've actually installed a lovely graphic there, which walks you through the dining room. And they have a great selection on the patio and some beautiful little tables and some of the nooks in this old house.
Fantastic. Looks spectacular. So key things. Restaurateurs, it's not difficult to get set up with tables. I think that's what maybe a lot will think. Do we have the time? Do we have the funding? It's not difficult at all to become a customer of yours, is it?
Not at all. What we see here is we simply need a clean, ready to go dining room. So when you onboard with us, and I'm just going to reshare as I do that explanation with Joel Palmer. We just need, as you see, it just needs to be camera ready. The camera, we do joke the camera picks up everything. So don't have that mop bucket sitting in the middle of the dining room after you've done your service. And it really captures the light. So we can do night shoots. We can do day shoots. We actually just shot in a building in New York with the sun setting over the cityscape. So really, these are beautiful, beautiful spaces that certainly on these traditional widgets don't capture and don't do them justice. This particular table by the window is one of my favorites. So for that, just the dining room set up, we come in, we shoot, we do our thing, and really look at us as we really are partners. Like we don't charge you a fee. There's no monthly cost, and we even pay for this up front, and you just use your table upgrades to even pay off the 3D scan. And from there, it's just straight revenue profit share with us. And we can move as fast as you can. We've had restaurants live within 72 hours.
Incredible. And it's the restaurateur that selects the amount of money that is charged per table. They don't have to be concerned about, all of a sudden it's a $200 or $500 fee to sit at their top table. It's actually the restaurant owner that's allowed and able to go in and sort of put this price right in, correct?
Yeah, we're here to advise, but of course you have the final say. So we're not here to tell you, your demographic better than you know it. And again, we're not looking to charge on a Monday when it's, let's say it's your slower day, or 5 p.m. About 35% of the bookings are free, for example, because, we're not trying to, we want to actually use the pricing psychology to help those earlier flip times as well. So we work with you. We're now, what's great is we're taking all this data and knowledge from partners around the country, around North America, and helping guide restaurants. This is something brand new. Who knows? Should it be $20, $40, or $100? And guess what? It also changes. Valentine's is very different than a random Tuesday in January. You look at some of the southern states like Arizona. Well, not a lot of people want to go there in the middle of July, right? But come the wintertime, they flip versus some of the northern markets. So we really are constantly helping and adjusting and looking at those flows. And again, we're just a partner. We only make money when you guys make money. So it's a very, very mutual agreement here of how we want guests to enjoy this as a service. And that's first and foremost what this is. This is a guest service tool. The profit is just the gravy on the back end.
This is like your day-to-day Uber or your day-to-day, flight selection, and everybody's used to upgrades. And in fact, I think it's exciting for them when they, not only know where their plane seat is before they board a plane, but now they have the opportunity to know where they're sitting for, maybe it's an anniversary dinner or birthday dinner, maybe they're getting engaged. How many times do we go to a restaurant and we're taken to a table and we're disappointed maybe because it's so full, we're at, the table by the door to the kitchen or the washroom. It's an opportunity to be even more excited, I think, to go for a meal and be able to select your seat prior. So I think it's absolutely brilliant.
And you're so right. The fear part of this is totally normal. The skepticism, I remember the first time I downloaded Uber and I was like, what the heck is this thing? I am not getting in that stranger's car. Remember the first time I downloaded Airbnb? No way. Are people really staying in strangers' homes? We've gone through some really amazing evolution, obviously, in technology. And yet, upgrading a table is a lot less scary than getting into a stranger's car. So the thing is, it is, you're right. It is a lot of, more restaurant psychology. I've managed so many floors. Any little fear of that tick of operational changes is legitimate. We know how delicate I call it the Tetris game of reservations. But the great news is that our system just syncs with your open table and 7 rooms in Resi. So everything's already in your system when your shift worker, your manager, your maitre d' shows up for their shift, and it makes it super simple. So we get it. If you're hesitant, you're skeptical, totally normal behavior. But the great part is there's now hundreds of restaurants using this, top operators, and this will be the norm because guess what? People really, really care. And what we're narrowing in on, something that even between our last chat, it's just how much operational benefits come from this. Like if you're a spot that has high demand, which is where we're looking to work with, but it doesn't mean high demand 7 days a week. It could be high demand for certain sections or 3-4 nights a week, or even 2 nights a week. Well, guess what? We're seeing a series of operational challenges. People bombarding the hostess teams, reviews, people demanding photos and content for certain sections. And, most of us, I've been through this, we don't have teams that can navigate the democracy of trying to get people the tables they want. And so many groups are now, again, really just narrowing on the fact that, yes, the money is great. Who doesn't want to make that extra additional, no cost, straight 10, 20. We have partners now making $100,000 in upgrades. But really, it starts with the operational benefits that they're even seeing that says, hey, you want that amazing window seat? Be our guest. Go, please upgrade. Do your thing. We'll happily facilitate that. Or guess what? This section of booths that everyone always fights for, and we only have 4 of them, and 20 people want them a night. Well, who do you give them to? Well, we know in hospitality, we're always going to keep one for our super VIPs, and you absolutely should. But in our system, tables might help two guests really get that experience, and it's totally democratic, it's totally voluntary, and it really takes the stress off of those maitre d' and core management teams.
Right. So restaurateurs excited about this. How can they reach you or your team? What's the method of signing up?
Yeah, just go right to tablz.com. That's tablz.com. You'll see, easily get a hold of us. And Scott, I know we share out my email, just Frazer, Frazer, Z for the Canadians, at tablz.com. So it's my first name. And we're more than happy to get going. As I said, there's no cost to join. It's a partnership from day one. We have an unbelievable portfolio of restaurants of all shapes and sizes. And is really great. We're looking for great partners that see those demand functions, those sections, those certain tables that just have overwhelming demand for the supply that we can. To go back to your airline example, once 5 p.m. hits takeoff, that plane's going, our service is gone, and there's no more ability to just fill more seats in our restaurants. We have to really think about how we're charging, and with this era of inflation, we can't just keep raising just the cost of food. Or unfortunately, our diners aren't going to understand what's really happening behind the scenes, but they certainly are willing in this day and age to pay for a better experience in their eyes.
Right. I think you've nailed something on the head there. Food costs are ridiculous, for restaurant owners. The cost of living going up for them, staff's, demands on revenue for themselves. It's a time where I'm sure restaurant owners would love to find another revenue model and a revenue stream coming into the restaurant. So there's no better time for this to be available to them, for sure.
Absolutely. We're seeing a lot of teams even enable their managers to look at Tablz as a part of their P&L, because it is straight rate, right? Adding those percentages and looking at that on a week to week and monthly basis. So, we encourage any teams to get creative with this. And it's, in an industry where we only have one lever, our food and beverage, and you keep 100% of that, this is a really amazing voluntary revenue tool that is, as I'm saying, it's no joke when you're making $10, $20, $100,000 in additional no cost upgrades. It moves the needles for a lot of our partners.
Wonderful. Well, glad it's available. Glad from DiRōNA for us that we were able to introduce you to our restaurateurs. I know those that have signed up already have been excited about it. So we're fortunate to work with you. So we're grateful for it. Thank you. It's something I think over time, I think it'll become a staple for the industry, especially for fine dining. So it's wonderful you've been able to put this together and get it out to the industry.
Well, thanks so much for having me on, and then let me tell my partners. So looking forward to working with more of your incredible group.
Great. Thanks, my friend. Always a pleasure to chat, and I hope you have a wonderful fall season.
You as well. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Frazer.